speaker after you have, after the talk, and we'll begin shortly. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thanks, yeah. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good
Welcome.
evening. Yeah, thank you. Have I been made the co-host? Will I be able to share the PPT?
Yes, ma'am, you'll be able to do it.
Okay. Can I just try it now?
Yes, ma'am, you may. Yes, ma'am.
ಹಿಂಗಪ್ಪ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಇದು ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Acha. Now it's my
Welcome,
turn
sir.
now.
Yes,
Huh?
sir, you're audible. Yes, sir, we can
Okay.
start.
Yes, sir, just a minute.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. I welcome you all to Sri Guru Nanak Dev Khalsa College's program, the webinar series on nutrition. We are starting our first session today, which is called Unlock Your Potential with Good Nutrition. I welcome our principal, Dr. Gurmohinder Singh, and I invite him to please share his words of wisdom with us. Sir, please.
Good evening, everybody. Uh, Eating healthy is an important part of healthy lifestyle at every age. However, nutrition is important, especially for youth and young growing children. But normally, we see guidelines for healthy eating from our grandparents or friends and relatives who are not scientifically equipped to provide proper awareness and based on personal pieces of advice, we keep doing dietary changes that can not only prove unhealthy but also can prove to be disastrous for physical and mental development. Hence, there is a need to discuss these healthy eating practices with expert nutrients. But our children, our children, especially girls, who need expert guidance more because of their constantly evolving physical, emotional, and hormonal being, cannot afford personalized consultation due to a number of factors, including economic factor. In this context, it is a matter of a great pleasure that our IQSC has taken an initiative to organize a series of talks on these very significant and relevant topics. Uh, I compliment Dr. Deepak Sharma for inviting Dr. Shobha ji, who is a very popular speaker in the field. Her many videos are available on YouTube channel for reference. Though you would be listening on the subject from an expert, however, I want to make some general introductory comments on this topic. Uh, well, uh, eat 3 meals a day with healthy snacks, eat balanced diet. Young children need extra nutrients to support bone growth, hormonal changes, and organ and tissue development, including brain. That's why they should eat breakfast, uh, eat healthy breakfast, or drink lot of water. With these words, I extend my heartiest greetings to entire team of IQSC for organizing the series of talks, and I also welcome all the participants and speaker also. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I now call upon my colleague Priyanka Modi to kindly introduce our speaker today for us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. A very good evening and a warm welcome to everyone for today's session. It is my proud privilege to introduce our accompanying speaker, Dr. Shobha Ji, to all of you. Dr. Shobha is a person with great credentials and vast achievements. She is an educator, a counselor, a nutritionist, and a wellness and life skills coach. Dr. Shobha is working as an associate professor in Department of Human Development at VHD College of Home Science in Bangalore. She is a gold medalist in MSc from Bangalore University. She is a PhD holder. She has done her doctoral research in human development on the topic traditional versus progressive approaches in school education. Dr. Shobha has 27 years of teaching experience both at the undergraduate and postgraduate levels and guided children of prestigious Sushila Lingam Gold Medal, Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Award, Vikas Prerak Sanman, Shiksha Ratna Puraskar, Rotary Women Achiever Award 2016. She is a regular columnist in the newspapers like Vijay Karnataka and Prajavni and given several programs, Janasri, several workshops, more than 400 invited lectures and programs at various organizations and forums for students, faculties, a number of state government organizations. Am I audible now? Nidhi ma'am, is it? Can you confirm?
Priyanka, yes, now I can hear you. There was a slight problem earlier.
Okay, ma'am. She has conducted several workshops at various organizations and forums for students, faculties, a number of state and government organizations, corporate and public sectors, non-government organizations, and general public. Some of them are BSNL, KPCL, BHEL, and Robert Bosch. Bosch skills and wellness coach. She is an external member of the Bosch committee of
Ma'am, there's a little lag there. I think it's on the slide. I think that should be enough.
Like
Thank you.
Power Grid, expert to various preschools and NGOs. Presently, ma'am, is it correct
Ma'am,
now?
I think it's on the slide. We will shorten it and move forward. No problem.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. Ma'am, Dr. Shobha, I welcome you to please begin your presentation. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Okay. First and foremost, good evening to everyone present here. Am I audible? Right? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Is my screen visible, ma'am?
No, ma'am, not yet.
Not yet, is it? Oh, just a minute. I'm just trying 1 minute. Have you made me the host, co-host?
Ma'am, there is no such provision of making the host. You may present the screen.
Okay, but then you say it's not visible now?
No, it's not visible.
Okay, let me see. Give me a minute, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Continue. Yes, first and foremost, I wish to thank Sri Guru Nanak Dev Khalsa College, University of New Delhi, for inviting me for this webinar series, nutrition webinar series, which we are going to have 5 series or sessions in the coming days. So I'm really honored and I'm very, very happy that I have got this privilege of connecting with people across the country. And I specifically wish to thank Mr. Dr. Deepak Sharma, who was coordinating with me for, I mean, he was instrumental in inviting me over for this program. Thank you so much, sir. Sir is here with us today, right?
Yes, ma'am, he's there.
Thank you so much. And I thank the entire college, the IQAC team for organizing this series and inviting me over. Thanks to all of you who have worked behind the screens to make this possible. And as sir was rightly saying, this is something very, very important, very much required. And not much of importance is given. Rather, we overlook the possibility or effect of nutrition when it comes to our general health. And now these 5 series have been scheduled for people across. Now it has been shared, ma'am? No?
Ma'am, it had come, but it has gone again.
Yeah, now it's there, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
will be coming in. Yes, it's there.
Oh, yeah. Okay, ma'am. So, thank you once again. And as sir said, We will be having this series every Friday and Saturday, and it will be nice if people are with us throughout this learning journey. So talking about nutrition and how important it is, let us have this in the form of an interactive session. So my question to you all, you could text to and give me your answers in your chat box. What is your big asset? If I have to ask you this, what is the biggest asset each of us have? You could let me know. Yes, if it is health, yes, right. It is health. Absolutely. Yes. Many of you say that health is the biggest asset. Absolutely. So when health is the biggest asset, how do we derive? Very good. Mental and physical health. Absolutely. As you're rightly saying, health is the biggest asset. And then is health only limited to physical health? No. Many of you have given answers as physical and mental health. Absolutely right. If health is not just physical and mental, does it comprise of anything else? WHO defines health as a state of not mere absence of disease, but it says that health is a complete state of physical, mental, social, emotional, and spiritual well-being. In that context, health is something very, very holistic and very much important. And as you rightly said, whether you are the students, the faculty, or working in different fields, corporate, whatever it may be, health is something that is primarily very, very important for us. If health is so important, how much of health is dependent on the various factors? Is food important for health? If so, how much of our health is dependent on our health or diet? Let's see in the form of percentage, please. Your answers in the form of percentage. To what extent our diet or food contributes to our health? Roughly about. Let's see in the form of percentage. What guesses? Okay, 90%. Okay, 100%. Okay, good. Okay, ranging from 70 to 100. Brilliant. Good to know that. Yes. As you have been telling me, yes, it is the biggest thing. And food has a lot of power to do many things. And health comprises of about 70% of nutrition. Yes, 100% when you said, you are right in a way too, because 100% is comprising of not just nutrition, but also the lifestyle factors, the exercise, the diet, the sleep pattern, the mental fitness, all that together. To be precise, health comprises mainly of about 70% of it coming from nutrition and the 30% of it coming from lifestyle. In all, our diet and lifestyle is so very important to us. Both nutrition and fitness are equally important. But many a times we are eating unmindfully and we feel that when it is food, it means to reduce calories, to get into that ideal body mass image or that zero figure, or to lose those extra kilos we have gained during the pandemic or lockdown. Food is just limited to that. But my dear audience, food has got a wider perspective and food is something very, very, very important. And Ayurveda says that when food is right, medicine is of no need. And when food is wrong, medicine is of no use, which means to say food is everything. So therefore, whether you are the student, a homemaker, a professional, whatever it is, we need to have the right art and skill, and we should know the science of cooking and eating. It's very, very important. So my next question to you. Yes, food is very important for us, you told me, and health depends almost about 70% plus on food. And if you think food has the power to do many things, could we see from the chat box, what is it that the food can do? What does food do to us? What are the ways food can help us? Your answers, please. Provide energy? Absolutely. Yes, gives energy. Nutrition is a broad term. Immunity, wonderful. Lot of answers going in for energy giving. Nourishment, yes. Yes, yes. So I get the pulse of people. So more of you, majority going for energy and a couple of you for other things. So let me start from there, from where you are saying, yes, food is something very, very important for our energy, for our various other things. And that is what we are going to see now. It has the power to do many things. As you rightly said, the number one choice, food as fuel. It's very important that what we eat provides fuel to the body. You have a premium vehicle. You have just purchased this from the showroom and you want to keep it in the best condition. And for that premium automobile or your car, what kind of fuel would you fit in or fill? Would you be going to a petrol bunk where or which sells a mediocre or a substandard petrol or fuel? No. You would go to that premium bunk, ask for the premium petrol, and then take care of your automobile, isn't it? If so, this human body is also one of the best mechanical device ever produced or ever designed on earth. The kind of functions it does, it's amazing. So it's very, very important that our human body is given the best of fuel, and this fuel comes from the food we eat. And this in the form of energy is given by the nutrients, which we're going to see a little later. What are the nutrients? So food as a fuel, many of you give the right answer, give yourself a score of 1. Does that all? Is that all? No. This is something not many of you gave me the answer. Of course, one or two of you told me about immunity, but this is much more than that. We're going to talk about immunity too a little later. Food to heal.
Hello.
Uh,
So Pindar, has ma'am got disconnected?
yeah, Nidhi, I think she'll be joining shortly. Some technical glitches there. We should wait for 2 minutes.
Fine, we'll wait.
Okay.
Hello, Dr. Shobha. Have you joined again?
Sir, ma'am has joined.
Dr. Shobha, am I audible to you?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. And your screen,
Yeah.
you'll need to share it again. It has gone.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry, ma'am. Some network issue. Hmm. Shift key,
Ma'am, it's visible now.
Okay, ma'am. So sorry. Yeah, I was talking to you about how food as a healer, it heals us from whenever we are wounded or there's a disease. I was talking to you about how, especially during Corona, how people are recovering. And basically, our immunity is so very important. People with good immunity power, they are able to survive and they are able to come out of this very pandemic. So, in that sense, please take care of food and see to it that you consume foods which can actually heal you. So, in this webinar series, it's going to be a progressive one where in every session we are going to learn different aspect of food. Of course, there is going to be continuity. There will be something new you're going to learn in everything. So I suggest that people who have registered continue through these sessions. The organizers have taken a lot of efforts to bring this for you. And this is so very important that you learn about the various aspects we're going to cover in the forthcoming series, because each and everything is interrelated to the other one. Food to influence our mood. There is one session exactly or completely on food and mood too. Today's is a basic session giving you a general perspective. Definitely the kind of food we eat affects our mood too, how we feel, how much we sleep. Are we feeling good about it? Am I feeling happy? The kind of food I eat, is it making me full or is it making me feel crib over something, get angry, get a good sleep and happiness, joy? This also depends on the kind of food we eat. In fact, the tryptophan, the amino acid that is present in milk, is a very good, it helps in the production of neurotransmitter serotonin. This serotonin is very important for a good sleep. It is also called as a happy hormone. So the more serotonin that is produced, we feel more happy, better mood. In fact, people with depression or anxiety are treated with artificial or prepared serotonin. If food can elevate your mood, if your other activities can elevate your mood and give you more serotonin, why not? This is exactly why we need to know about food, and food is much more than just calories. Potential to prevent almost every, especially the present day, when we talk about the chronic lifestyle disorders, almost 80% of premature stroke and heart disease can be prevented through healthy lifestyle. About 10 types of various diseases, chronic lifestyle diseases, which have their origin in chronic lifestyle disorders have their origin in the food itself. So if you want to set here or get a good health, it is very, very important that we take care of our food. Could you quickly list down the top 10 diseases which are killing human beings right now? At least give me top 5 diseases which is killing people. Let's see in your chat box. Diabetes, yes, diabetes, heart attack. Right. Lot of answers going for diabetes, blood pressure, atherosclerosis, obesity, BP. Yes. Okay. My next question to you is: there is a commonality. There is something very, very common in all these diseases you've just listed. What is that commonality that runs through all this? If diabetes is an improper functioning of the pancreas or inadequacy of insulin, and if hypertension is the increased pressure in the heart, in spite of these two being different, there is something which is common in all these diseases which you have just listed. What is that commonality? That's the next question. Let's see. My session is going to be very good. I get a good answer there. Yes, yes, yes. Lifestyle. Thanks for that wonderful answer. Majority of these diseases which I've just listed, which are the topmost killers in the present days, are those diseases which are not gifted to us by our genes. These are not the diseases which we are getting because our parents had it. It is not due to heredity, but these are the diseases which we gift to ourselves in the form of lifestyle disorders, which means to say what we eat, how much we eat, when we eat, where we eat, and do we exercise, do we sleep, do we feed our body and the mind with the right kind of food and thoughts. All these matter and decide these 10 top lifestyle disorders, which means to say that so very important is our food. Therefore, it's very, very important that we know and learn about our food. It is so important. So food heals, and food repairs our own self. It's 1 minute, I think each time I'm able to, I'm taking a little time going back. Yeah. Is that all? There are many instances where food has brought us together with our own people, with our own relatives. It is said that a family which eats together stays together. When we are at the dining table, that's the best time to narrate stories, to share feelings, to understand the efforts of the head of the family, the mother or the father, who works, toils, and earns money to bring that food at the dining table. The work of the mother or whoever in charge of bringing that food to the table, the work of these individuals, the gift of nature, sunlight, rain, the efforts of the farmer, all that converges and brings that platter or the thali to your dining table. So isn't food a great way to bond, to learn, to get values, to learn about different traditions? All your tyohars, whether it is Diwali, we are very close to Dasara. And what is the important thing there, apart from the rituals, the food that is shared in the form of prasadam, it could be the form of the feast. It speaks about the different traditions. It talks about the different cultures, especially India being culturally rich and diversified. Each and every festival, there is a significant dish, there is a significant menu in that particular. So food is also a source to learn about our own traditions. I have got people from various parts of India today. Each of you, if you can give me one dish that is very, very important or particular to your own area or geographical location, which speaks about your tradition. Let me hear that from you. Give me the geographical area and the dish, which is such a signature dish of your state or your place. Yes, let's see that. Waiting for your answers. Yes, Gujarat Undia. Wonderful. It's a wholesome dish with vegetables, the different vegetables. It's a very, very nutritious recipe. Wheat prasad from Kanpur. Wheat is a cereal with jaggery and the other condiments added to that. It makes a delicious prasad. Brilliant. Yes, kheer, mainpuri. Yes, look at that. We need to be proud that we belong to a country like India, where, yes, sag roti, Punjab, the sarson ki sag and roti, great, yes. We recognize ourselves with the kind of food we eat. Down south, it is ragi, jowar, different types of millets. If we look at Punjab, it is more of wheat. If we go up north, again, it is rye and bajra and other cereals and millets. Beautiful. So which means to say that each of us recognize ourselves with this kind of food habits. It is so very unique for each of us. So that's the pleasure, or that's the beauty of the food we are eating. Therefore, we need to be feeling good about the kind of food we eat and from where we are coming from. So that is about the food and the traditional part of it. What else? Does that stop there? No, food is also very, very important in the form of what else could you guess? Food is also important for many other aspects, like food builds our immunity. Especially when we are talking about COVID times, it is said that the immunity of us is so important, and 90% of the immunity comes from the gut, or our microbiome present in the gut, which is so very, very important. And the gut microbiome is such an important aspect that the more diverse the gut microbiome, the better is the immunity. There are millions and million types of microbiome present in our gut. And each of these different types of microbiome are responsible to decide how healthy we are. Which means to say, if you need to keep yourself healthy, it's very important that you have a diversified gut microbiome. How do we get this diversified gut microbiome? By eating variety of foods. That's exactly why we should be eating different types of food. But unfortunately, we have restricted ourselves these days to the Western type of food. Our day starts with refined foods. It could be in the form of maida-based pulkas, or especially the pizza burgers and the rotis and rumalis, or the conventional or the processed foods. Unfortunately, this kind of foods is only refined with empty calories, no other nutrients there, which is exactly why today obesity is on the rise and people are having lower immunity. We have instances of children missing schools, people falling sick, and all this is due to the poor immunity we possess. For that one reason, it is very important that we add variety to our diet and improve our gut microbiome. So at this juncture, I would like to ask you all, are we or are you using food to unlock your full potential? That's very important. Are you using food only to get energy? I need to get my energy to work, to go to college, to go to office. So I need to eat something which fills my stomach, which keeps me full, so that I work and I do things. That's one purpose. But if you are looking at food to not just give you energy, but also to heal, to connect, to grow, to perform, to prevent you from diseases, to build up your immunity, for your brain to function in a higher way, to have a happy mood, that is the kind of food you all should be eating to unlock your potential. There is so much to learn about food. So we as individuals need to know what food is, how much we should be eating, where it should be coming from. At this juncture, may I ask you all, on a scale of 10, how much you think you are eating right? On a scale of 10, how right you think you are eating? Which means getting food which will heal you, which will cool you, which will nourish you, which will help you in everything. 6, 5, 7, 5 again, 4, okay. Oh, so I am not seeing, I don't see rather here 10 on 10. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing a 10 on 10 here. Instead, your answers range from 4 onwards, which means to say that although we belong to the affluent classes, we are not those people who need to work or toil for those 3 square meals. But in spite of that, if we are not eating right, which means to say we really need to learn more about food. So let's address those gaps, find out which are those foods where we are not giving enough attention and address that. To do that, first and foremost, let's understand what nutrients are. The kind of food we eat comprises of different chemicals. And these chemicals, the essential chemicals which are required for our life and health, these are called as nutrients, which are the chemical substances. There are basically 5 nutrients, or if you add water to it, we call it as a 6 major nutrients. Of course, water does not give us any calories, but it is such an important aspect of our body. Any idea what percentage of our body is filled with water, is made up of water? About 65% of our body is made out of water. Every part, the tissues, the blood, the skin, the digestive enzymes, the juices, water is present. So it is very, very important. So although we don't consider water as any of the energy building or the protective food, it's also one of the nutrients. But otherwise, we look at these 5 essential nutrients, very, very important. The factors we were discussing, that is food to fuel, food as healer, food to protect, food that helps you nourish or keeps you happy, all that falls in these 5 categories, that is carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. How much you are eating, when you are eating, and what kind of proteins and fats or what kind of carbohydrates you are eating, all this decides how well you age, how healthy you are, how fit you are. Therefore, we need to know more about these nutrients. So this is what I was talking to you about, the basic nutrients in food. The first 3 are called as macronutrients. They are required to us in greater quantities. And the next 2 are called as a micronutrients. When you look at carbohydrates, carbohydrates is the easiest energy source for all of us. All kinds of cereals have carbohydrates. The different kinds, rice, ragi, jowar, all the types of millets, wheat has carbohydrates. Fruits have carbohydrates. The sugars have carbohydrates. The sweets have carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are basically those which give us energy. In the cereals, it's present in the form of starches. So are carbohydrates important for our body? Indefinitely, yes. About 60 to 65% of our daily energy should come from carbohydrates. These are the main energy sources. 1 gram of carbohydrate gives about 4 kilocalories of energy. But the type of carbohydrate is what that matters. Means when we take carbohydrates, we should see to it that the carbohydrates are complex in nature. What do we mean by complex carbohydrates? Complex carbohydrates are those which have fiber in it, which have low glycemic index. Complex carbohydrates are those which release glucose slowly, which release glucose gradually. If you pick up a bottle of aerated drink and just drink that, or if you pick up a candy bar and bite into that, you are getting your carbohydrate, but that is called as simple sugars or simple carbohydrate. Whereas when you eat your fulkas or chapatis with some sabjis, etc., what you are getting there is complex carbohydrate. What is the difference between the two? Complex carbohydrates are those which are whole in nature, which are less refined, and that which has fiber in it. These complex carbohydrates release energy or sugar or glucose gradually, and it does not spike up the blood sugar level. Today, why are we seeing increasing incidence of diabetes? Why India has become the diabetes capital? One of the reasons is because we are into eating too much of refined foods. It's not the amount, it's not because we eat sweets, but because we are eating refined foods in larger quantities, we are exercising less, we are leading a sedentary life. Therefore, point number 1 to remember, mark it in your books that your carbohydrates should be complex in nature. It should have the fiber. It should be whole in nature. And this next important word is bring in variety. Different types of carbohydrates, different types of cereals is very, very, very important. So the good food sources for complex carbohydrates are all your cereals, your traditional home cooking, whatever your mother, your grandparents cooked at home, the traditional recipes, they are those which contain the complex carbohydrates. But unfortunately, today we are going in for the instant foods, the quick foods, the comfort foods. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be eating any of these, but follow the rule of 80-20, which means to say 80% of the time eat rich, enriched, fibrous, nutritious, whole complex carbohydrates. 20% of the time indulge in comfort foods, which you love to have a quick burger or a pizza, bite into a sandwich. All that is fine as long as majority of it, 80% of it, is coming from whole foods. So that is about the carbohydrates. The second big macronutrient is protein. If you are on the leaner side, you want to put on a little weight, or you've just undergone a surgery and you have to recuperate, that is when you need more proteins. For every kilo of body weight, we need about a gram of protein. And the good sources of protein are different types of pulses, milk and milk products, egg, meat, poultry are the good protein sources. What is it that we need to remember about protein is we need to eat protein with good biological value, which is good for our tissues. Proteins have this very special structure. They have what is called as amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins. There are different amino acids, the essential and the non-essential. The type of amino acids we have helps in building these tissues and muscles. So it is very important that we take different types of proteins, different types of pulses, so that we get different amino acids required for our body. And each gram of protein gives about 4 calories. But more than the energy giving, it is the growth and tissue repair for which the proteins should be reserved. So if you are taking good quantity of your pulses in the form of dal, sabjis, sambar, rotis made of pulse and cereals, or a khichdi, a simple moong dal and rice khichdi, or a dalia khichdi is a great dish which is a combination of a cereal and a pulse, or a combination of carbohydrates and proteins. This is how we should be planning our day. I'll be talking to you about the basic 4 food groups. I'll be explaining more about that. Which means to say that instead of eating an empty calorie which is coming from a aerated drink or from a juice or from your candy bar, if you can get that the same energy from a combination of cereal and a pulse, carbohydrate and proteins in the form of dosa or idli or your khichdis or bisibadaba, which is a combination of cereal and pulse, you have hit the nail on the right side. You've got a combination of a carbohydrate and a protein. If you can add some vegetables and greens to that same dalia khichdi or your moong khichdi, you've got the other nutrients too there. So this is how we need to be planning. The next vital nutrient in the macronutrient category is the fats and oils. Are fats good for ourselves? Let me see a quick answer. Are fats required? Are fats good for our body? Yes. Yes. Then why is that so much of hue and cry about fat? When we think of fat, we only think of adding weight, we think of obesity, we think of cholesterol. And for everybody, fat is a big enemy. Sorry, fat is a very important nutrient for us also, but it's the kind of fat or how much of fat we eat is what matters. There are good and bad fats or lipids. There is the high density lipoprotein and the low density lipoprotein. It's a kind of fats we eat that matters. So my dear, yes, HDL and LDL. So it's very important that we also take fats, but in the right context, in the right prototype is what is very, very, very important. Amount of fats and oils is very important. The source is very important. And those fats which comes from, or the oils which comes from the vegetable origin, are generally safer. And those from the animal origin, if you can keep it to moderate amounts, that is fine. That is how we need to be taking our fats and oils. Yes, this is what we were talking. Carbohydrates, carbs gives you energy, simple and complex. We were talking about that. Proteins to build and repair body tissues. Animal sources, plant sources like beans, soya, all kinds of pulses, nuts and legumes. Fats and oils, yes, they are good, but in the right amounts. It's very important. Why is fat important? Because it insulates your body. It keeps you warm in cold weather. There is a layer of adipose tissue just under or beneath your skin, which acts as an insulator. It keeps you warm. It cushions your organs. The major organs like your kidney, the heart, are seated, are well cushioned in a layer of fat. So it acts as a protective membrane. And there are fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, which require a medium of fats to dissolve them, and so that they're available for the body. And not just that, doesn't a spoon of desi ghee add taste to your food? Or those nice parathas made in ghee or oil doesn't give you that taste? Yes. So fats and oils are also for good taste. Having said that, it is so very important that we eat all these. And talking about vitamins and minerals, yes, these are called as the micronutrients. Micronutrients are, as the name itself suggests, they're required in small quantities, but they're very, very important. If the first three gives us energy, these two give us the immunity, protection, healing. So with that, the macro and micro put together a wonderful combination of energy, protection, and regulation of growth. So we require different types of vitamins. There are different vitamins in the form of vitamin A, D, E, and K. We also have minerals in the form of calcium, iodine, magnesium, sulfur, zinc, iron, etc. So these are some of the minerals that's required for the body. So when we are talking about all these things, we spoke about the nutrients, we spoke about the different healers, preventers, etc. But how, in a normal day, in a kitchen, as we are cooking, how do we know that? Have I got my macronutrients today? Have I got my micronutrients today in the right proportion? Is it possible to weigh it every day? Is it possible to take our food to a food lab and check if I've got my zinc and magnesium and sodium and potassium and calcium? No. For that simple reason, we have this beautiful scientific concept called as food pyramid. This food pyramid, in a very simple form, explains to us how we can get various nutrients, how we can get our food for our body, mind, and soul. So let's learn about this food pyramid concept. If you look at the food pyramid, there are 4 segments, and the pyramid is broad at the base. It tapers as it goes top. There are certain foods arranged in different segments, and there is a message in this. What is that? As the pyramid is broad, the food that is placed in the bottommost group, the first food group, it's called as a cereal group. All kinds of cereals are placed in this first food group. As I already told you, cereals are required for good energy building. And there are different types of cereals. In rice itself, there are hundreds of different varieties of rice. We need to remember that we should be getting cereals in their natural form. The cereals should be whole in nature. It should be less processed. The less processed the cereals are, the more vitamins, more fiber they have. So see to it that you consume different types of cereals in their natural form, in the whole form, less refined. Brown rice is better than white rice. Whole wheat is so much better than the refined atta, refined maida. So See to it that your grocery shopping includes whole cereals, which are less refined. That's point number one. Second very important point, bring variety into your diet. See to it that you start consuming different types of cereals. Yes, your staple may be rice, your staple may be wheat. Along with your staple food, try and include different cereals in smaller quantities to begin with. When you add this variety into your diet, your gut microbiome improves, you have better immunity, and you get the best of everything because not all nutrients are present in the right proportion in one food. There is no food which fits everybody. There is no one superfood. So we need to be eating a little of everything. Therefore, bring in variety into your diet. And the third most important thing, moderation. Anything in moderation is very important. Doesn't mean that somebody says that millets are good and you tomorrow you switch over to all 3 meals of millets. Let it be slow, let it be gradual. See if that agrees to your system. We need to listen to our bodies. There is a saying, one man's food is another man's poison. So listen to your bodies. What is it that agrees with me? Do I have any kind of allergic reaction? Do I get a bloating sensation when I eat this particular food? So please understand that and have anything in moderation. So this is about the first food group, cereals. About 60 to 65% of your calories should be coming from this food group, which means to say that in every meal, that is your breakfast, lunch and dinner, there should be a very good complex carbohydrate source in the form of whole cereal. It could be a chapati, a fulka, a roti, or a unrefined flour made naan, or it could be idli, dosa, depending on which geographical location you are hailing from. See to it that there is a good complex carbohydrate source for every meal. And the portion size is very, very important. How much of it you are eating? Especially in South India, there is a tendency to eat lots of rice. We call it mountains of rice and rivers of sambar. Nothing wrong in eating rice, but how much of rice we are eating? Are we eating or overloading ourselves with rice only and we are missing out on the proteins coming from the dals, etc., or the vegetables? So the portion size is what that matters. Going on to the next one, vegetables and fruits. Extremely important. Look at that second group, vegetables and fruits. You see red, green, yellow, orange, purple, different colors. Each and every color is a storehouse of antioxidants. What are antioxidants? Antioxidants are those which help fight or remove the toxins or the free radicals from our body. And antioxidants are anti-cancerous, anti-inflammatory. Majority of the diseases we get today is because of the inflammation that's produced in the body. Vegetables and fruits are anti-inflammatory, they're anti-cancerous, anti-allergic. They have what is called as phytonutrients, which help fight the free radicals. Therefore, please include good quantity of vegetables and fruits into your diet. The concept of food pyramid is that in every meal you should have all the 4 food groups. It's not that you get your first food group in the breakfast and then look at the second food group for your lunch. No, all your food groups in all your 3 meals, that should be your mantra. So let there be some kind of vegetable, fruit or a sabji in every meal, in your breakfast, in your lunch and dinner. It could be in the form of a sabji, a sambar, a salad, a raw fruit which you bite into. It could be anything. My dear audience, especially if I'm addressing a group of young students and youth, this is one group which most of us neglect. Somehow you get your carbohydrates. That's the simple source. That's the easiest one, the cereal group. But the vegetables and fruits, we are so unmindful of it. We have our own personal tastes, choices. I don't like this. I hate this vegetable. Many of us have these specific tastes and allergies or dislikes. Please remember, every color of a vegetable is important or has a very specific function for a particular organ or a tissue. The red color pigment antioxidant lycopene, which is present in tomato, which gives the color red to the tomato, is good for the heart. The orange color carotene antioxidant, which is present in carotene, is important for your eyes and lungs. The green color pigment or antioxidant chlorophyll that is present in greens is very good for the blood. Similarly, the list goes on. Indole pigment in cauliflower. All these different antioxidants are very, very important for your immunity, for your health. Today, we are missing out on good health for one simple reason, that we are not eating adequate quantity of vegetables and fruits. Minimum 5 servings of fruits and vegetables is very important for your day, every day, for your meal, all your 3 meals. See to it that you bite into an apple or a guava or eat a papaya, whatever that is seasonal. Your fruits, when I say fruits, it need not be the extraordinary, exorbitant strawberries or the kiwis from New Zealand or the apples from Kashmir. It could be a locally grown backyard fruit that's available, seasonal fruits that is available. Please take that. Why am I stressing so much on seasonal fruits? The locally grown seasonal fruits and vegetables develop their own disease fighting mechanism for the surrounding problem or the adversity happening. So phytochemicals are as immunity builders in the food, vegetables and fruits. So when these vegetables and fruits build up their own disease fighting mechanism in the form of phytonutrients, addressing to the adversities in the common visibility or their own geographical area. And when we eat this very same fruits and vegetables which have developed these protective factors or phytochemicals, phytonutrients, we get those protective foods to our own self. So therefore, when you eat a locally grown food, you have already got a medicine for a local problem that's already there. Because you're eating that food in the form of medicine, your vegetables and fruits have already developed those phytonutrients. Therefore, seasonal and locally grown foods and vegetables extremely important for the different phytonutrients that are present in them. And the darker the color of vegetables and fruits, higher is the antioxidant value. In fact, today oncologists or the cancer specialists say that add color to your plate and keep away from cancer, which means to say increase your vegetables and fruits and then keep away from cancer. So to that extent, doctors are stressing on vegetables and fruits. So please, my humble request, add or start eating those vegetables and fruits. Your pizza, burger, the amount what we generally pay for this kind of comfort foods or ready to eat foods or convenient foods, with half the cost, we can afford vegetables and fruits. And it can really reduce your medical bills. It can improve your immunity. It can give you more vigor and vitality. Why? Because vegetables and fruits are rich in antioxidants, as I already told you. They are rich in fiber, which acts as a scavenger, which heals and which cleans your system, which relieves your constipation, which eases out your bowel movements. That's another reason why you should be eating fruits and vegetables. Another very important reason why you should be eating vegetables and fruits is because they are still raw. They are still alive. They have live enzymes in it. They are still growing. So they're raw, especially when you eat these raw vegetables and raw fruits, the live enzymes are there. So which keeps us active, which keeps us energetic. Haven't you seen when you eat a 5-course meal in a party or a wedding, when you come back home, you're tired, you have that lethargic feeling, and you lose interest in the things to be done. Whereas try eating a good fruit on an empty stomach, not overloading yourself with heavy fatty foods. You feel energized. That is the power of fruits and vegetables. So one commitment from today, if you can, or one message you can take home from today's session is increase your consumption of fruits and vegetables. Some of the things what you need to remember when you're talking about fruits and vegetables are, as I told you, let it be seasonal, local. Other than that, wash them well. It's very important that you wash the vegetables and fruits in running water. Many a times you see that there are pesticides in that are sprayed at different times during harvest season, times during storage, during transportation. So washing vegetables and fruits, especially if you're eating them raw, washing it well in running water, using friction, rubbing it well, soaking it in dilute salt solution, or washing it with a little sodium bicarbonate or cooking soda. These are some of the precautions that we need to take if you are eating it raw, or even when you're cooking also. That's something very important. And as much as possible, eat fruits with their skin whenever possible. Whichever fruit can be eaten with skin, eat it along with the skin. Why? Because it gives you a lot of fiber. It keeps you full for a longer time. We call it as a satiety value. It gives you the feeling of fullness, so that when you're full, you don't quickly pick up that chips or that quick junk food, because you have a good energy that is being released gradually because you've consumed whole fruits and vegetables. So see to it that you consume that way. And any day, a whole fruit is better than fruit juice. But definitely, fruit juice are better when the natural fruit juices are better when compared to the artificial drinks that is available. The artificial flavored drinks are better than the aerated drinks. So this should be your comparison. Whenever possible, keep or eat fruits as much as possible. At this juncture, I'll just stop. Let me see if there are any questions so far in what we have been discussing or sharing. Let your questions come.
Ma'am, as of now, there is one question regarding
Yes.
the issue of sprouts. So
Okay.
Dr. Deepak Sharma has put up this question. He wants to know whether what is more advisable, should sprouts be eaten raw or cooked? Because there are many studies these days that if you eat, you should cook them because they may have some harmful bacteria on it. And I'd also like to add to this question, what about fruits? As children, we learned in school that, oh, they should be eaten with the peel on. But given the amount of pesticides, we are nowadays also told that we should remove the peel. So what is your advice on that?
Okay, good question, ma'am. I'll talk about the sprouts a little later as I'm talking about the protein group, but definitely talk about the fruits. Yes, pesticides is something which are unmindfully being used in our agricultural practices. Unfortunately, either our farmers are not well aware of the ill effects of pesticides, or it could be sometimes for the quick income for various reasons. So pesticides are definitely unmindfully used in our agriculture. For that, organic foods is a reason, or that could be a solution, where organic farming, where the chemical pesticides are not used and foods are cultivated in a natural way. That's called as organic. That could be an answer. But most of us, what we get in the market is the normal or conventionally raised or conventionally grown vegetables and fruits. So we need to be aware that pesticides are being sprayed at different stages of transportation, harvesting, at various stages. So very importantly, we need to, as consumers, we need to take some of these precautions. Point number one, source your vegetables from the right places. That's exactly why I told you, let your fruits and vegetables be sourced from local gardens, local places. It is very important that we are aware of the geographical miles. That is the number of miles your vegetables or fruits or the food has traveled from its source of production to the dining table. The longer or the higher is the geographical miles, to keep it good for that long time, higher amount of pesticides or chemicals are sprayed. Therefore, eating seasonal fruits, getting those which are locally grown, is one way of reducing the pesticide load. That's what I meant by the source of food. Secondly, when you bring in the vegetables and fruits, it is very important that how you clean it is so important. So while cleaning, as I already told you, washing it well in running water, steeping it in water for a couple of minutes, washing with dilute salt solution or sodium bicarbonate or potassium permanganate solution. All these are something very important. When you do this, you are able to take away the pesticides which are applied outside to a great extent. Peeling the skin is another way where you remove more of the pesticides. But eating with the skin is good. After you have taken all these precautions of good cleaning, we also get what is called as vegetable brushes, which can gently scrub the vegetables and fruits. You could use that also. When all these precautions are taken, eating vegetables and fruits with skin is a good option because you get a lot of fiber in it, which is very, very important. These days, there is increasing incidence of colon cancer and other types of cancers related to the digestive system. One of the reasons for colon cancer could be the inadequate consumption of fiber. An adult person requires about 25 to 30 grams of fiber, and majorly the fibers come from the whole cereals, vegetables, and fruits. As much as we progress towards the refined foods, our body is missing the fiber. That is one of the reasons for obesity, for different types of cancer. So in that context, as much as possible, eat fruits and vegetables after taking the precautions. Eat it with the skin. That is the care one should be taking, the cleaning process. The third important thing is when we cook the vegetables and fruits also, the pesticides are reduced or it becomes non-functional or less disastrous to the body. Therefore, cooking is another way of nullifying the effects of pesticides. So if we can take care of all these things, vegetables and fruits are a great source of nutrients for the body. Hope I've answered the question, ma'am. Any other before I move on?
Yes, ma'am. There's one more. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for your answer. So the question is, should we cut down our sugar intake to zero? And if one does that, how does one control one's sugar cravings?
Oh, okay, okay. Cutting down sugar to zero. Why should we be cutting down our sugar to zero? In fact, carbohydrates and sugars are very important for our body. As I told you, 60 to 65% of our energy should be coming from carbohydrates. Sugar is also a form of carbohydrate. But the kind of sugar we eat is so important. There are different types of sugars. The fruit sugar, the milk sugar, the sucrose, etc. The kind of sugars that is present in the fruit is called as fructose or the fruit sugar, which is very good. It not only gives you calories, but it also has medicinal value. It helps you in various ways. Sucrose is that which is present in the table sugar, the crystal sugar. So there are different types of sugar. So we need not cut down the sugar, but what we need to cut down is a table sugar or the white sugar, the crystalline sugar, which we add to our sweet preparations or coffee, tea, syrups, etc. Desserts. That is something which is just empty calories. The refined, crystalline, free-flowing white sugar is empty calories without any vital nutrients. Whereas the sugar which comes from milk, that is lactose, or sugar which is present in fruits, the fructose, or the sugar which is present in the malted cereals, the maltose, we, in a misnomer way or in a wrong concept, we use the term sugar. Sugar is not that which is bad. There are different types of sugar, as I told you. It is this refined crystalline sugar which we add to our sweets and desserts. That is something we should be mindful of. 1 teaspoon of sugar gives about 5 calories. And you just calculate the number of cups of coffee, tea we drink every day. Multiply that into that many teaspoons of sugar. In fact, a 200 ml of aerated carbonated drink has about 8 tablespoons of sugar, which means to say just calculate that is the kind of sugar you need to be mindful of. It is not all kinds of sugar. Sugar is present in cereals also. Sugar is present in all types of, whether it is rice, ragi, all your carbohydrate cereals also have sugar, but it is a type of sugar we need to. So keep away from the refined table sugar or crystalline sugar, which is generally added for sweets and coffees and condiments. Instead, you can substitute your sugar or lessen the quantity by adding other sweetenings, natural sweeteners like honey, jaggery. So these are the better alternatives. Or adding fruit and making a milkshake so that you reduce the amount of sugar there. So that way you should be increasing your sweetness, but not by adding just a teaspoon of the ready sugar that is available in the sachet. So that is something we need to keep away from, because this is nothing but empty calories. In
Right,
fact,
ma'am.
jaggery is a much better option with iron and other nutrients in it. Honey is sweetener, and also it has a lot of medicinal value. So these are some things we need to think of.
Ma'am, the next question is can you suggest a substitute to fiber that normally comes from fruits and vegetables?
Okay, as I already told you, the whole cereals itself is a good source of fiber. When you have your fulkas and chapatis, or your rice or ragi or millets, you get your fiber. And also the nuts, the peanut, it could be the pulses. I haven't gone to that as yet. So when we are taking those kinds of pulses or your cereals in a whole way, that is something we can, or we get our fiber from. Why? Is there anyone with a problem of fruits and vegetables? Is there a dislike towards that? Or if I can get a elaboration on that? Why do you want to keep yourself away from vegetables and fruits? My question is that.
Rishima ma'am, was that a general query, or is it for someone who has problems with fruits and vegetables?
Hello. Actually, my parents are elderly, so they can't take much of fruits and vegetables in raw form.
Okay.
So that is why I asked, is there any substitute which they can take?
So if they can't take in the raw form, the cooked form is another option. Other than that, fiber.
Yes, that is all right, ma'am. But my father is quite elderly, and nowadays he is not. I mean, he doesn't have taste for salty vegetables, So it is very difficult for us to give him vegetables. He doesn't eat vegetables.
In that case,
yeah. So that is the problem.
Okay. Even the vegetables, ma'am, it could be given in the form of a puree. It could be given in the form of, you can just make it as a juice. You can make a porridge along with your rice and vegetable porridges.
Okay, ma'am. That he takes, but I wanted to know if we can give him something else to, fulfill that efficiency. Yeah.
For the fiber concept, you could give the whole cereals in the form of porridges. If he has dentures problem, you could give him this kind of soft cooked cereals in that form. You could give, so that will take care of fiber content.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
And going on to the next third group, that is the pulses group or the protein group. So this is something very important, and if you see or look at the size of the pyramid, it is reducing in size, which means to say you should be eating moderately lesser amounts of this food when compared to vegetables, fruits or cereals. There are again variety of protein sources, all types of dicotyledons or pulses or legumes or protein sources. It comprises of moong, red gram, Bengal gram, soya, all different types of pulses, meat, poultry, egg, all these to be eaten in moderation. They are very good for muscle building and tissue building, for the repair work, what I was telling you. But see to it that you eat in moderation. At the same time, the quantity and the quality of the protein is very important. We call it as a biological value of protein. It's very important. And also another thing to be remembered is these pulses or the protein sources have different kind of amino acids. There are various amino acids called as essential and the non-essential amino acids. So all these amino acids are present in varying degrees, in varying combination in different foods. Therefore, when we bring home different types of legumes, we get the different amino acids present in different pulses so that we get a good protein makeup. For that reason, the suggestion here is get different types of pulses and legumes. Generally, how many types of pulses do you all consume or bring home? If you can give me the number about how many types of different pulses are chopped and brought to your kitchen generally. Let's hear it from you all. in your chat box. 4, 5, 10, 5. It could be anything. Let me see the number. 5. Bishop says 10 to 12. Meena says 5. Okay. Any other answers at this stage? I try to bring 6 to 7. Most popular ahar. Okay, arhar dal. Okay, 5, 5. Okay. Let me take that average of about 5 to 6. Each and every, all these pulses have different kind of amino acids, different way it nourishes our body. It is very important that we have different kinds of these legumes and pulses. Another tip or another change in your diets from tomorrow or when you do your next supermarket shopping is see to it that you increase. If you're already taking 5 to 7, increase it to 3 more and make it 10. If you're taking 10, make it 12. We can easily start consuming, or there are about common 16 to 18 different pulses available. Chana itself comes in different colors. Rajma comes in different varieties. Moong is there, different. Matki is there. Horse gram is there. Each and every pulse has got a different makeup of amino acids, different types. We need to be eating a variety of these pulses. It's very, very, very important for protein, for good muscle building and tissue repair. So the assignment to you all is to increase the types of pulses when you go out for shopping. See to it, the desirous or the desirable limit is to take it up to about 16 to 18. 16 to 18 different types of pulses. If we can gradually increase and stay at that, I think you are giving a great gift of health to your family because you are increasing the variety, the gut microbiome variety increases, you are increasing the different type of fiber and the different type of amino acids, and in all you are giving complete protein to your family or for your own self. So this is something, a small little change we need to do is to find out that. So whenever you are spending your time, it could be in your offices, discussing with people, talk about the different types of proteins or the cereals and pulses they consume, the kind of staples they have. This could be a great learning for all of us that how we can enrich ourselves and get the best out of the diversity, especially that is present in the Indian culture. Talking about the last one, the fats, oils, condiments, this should be sparingly used. Of course, it is very, very important, but sparing should be the key term here. We have vegetables, oils, or the fat source, which is very important for absorbing the fat soluble vitamins. We also need it for insulation. We also need for various other purposes. Fats and oils are needed for the lubrication of your joints. But what is important is a kind and amount of fats and oils. We have what is called as the saturated fatty acids and the unsaturated. Generally, the plant sources or the oils which we obtain from plants and oil seeds generally have better fatty acid makeup in the form of unsaturated or polyunsaturated or monounsaturated. We call it as a PUFA or the MUFA. So monounsaturated fatty acid or the polyunsaturated fatty acids are good for the body, which means to say that the plant sources, plant and oil seed sources are better for the body. Those fats which comes from the animal sources to be taken to in a lesser quantity because they have saturated fats. Still worse are the trans fats. Trans fats are those where the oils are hydrogenated by passing hydrogen into it, and the liquid oils are converted to solids. And these trans fats are used in the preparation of confectionaries, the bakery items, the various types of junk foods that's available, the packet foods, all contain the trans fats. Why do they hydrogenate and use the trans fats in these foods? Is because the shelf life of this kind of fats, the trans fat, is higher. It doesn't get spoiled. The food, that comfort food or the ready to eat or the packet food should be there in the market, in the supermarket shelf for months. So which means to say they need to have a fat which has a higher shelf life. Trans fats have higher shelf life. Therefore, the hydrogenated trans fats are used for this kind of foods. Therefore, as much as possible, keep yourself away from this kind of artificially made or the trans fats. That's exactly why we should get into the habit of learning or reading the labels. That's a very, very important habit or the food literacy thing we all need to learn. Read the labels. When you read the label of any food packet, if your food says 100 grams of any food that you have picked up from the shelf of your grocery store or supermarket, a 100-gram packet of that food, if it contains less than 3 grams of fiber in that 100 grams, that food is not at all worthy of eating, because every 100 grams should give you at least 3 grams of fiber to get that 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day. Today, when you go back, just pick up randomly a ready to eat confectionery or any kind of food that lures you in the markets. Look at the labels. You will see 0 fiber, 0.03 or 0.02 fiber for 100 grams, which means to say it is not even worthy of eating. Let's go on to the kind of fat that is used. It could be trans fats, or they don't even mention that. And you will also see a whole lot of names in the form of preservatives and added chemicals. We are not even familiar with those things. My dear audience, we should be eating more of foods which is grown in plants, not manufactured in plants. But unfortunately, today most of our food is coming from or manufactured in plants. That's exactly why today our health is also outsourced. We are no longer responsible for our health, but instead we are given it away. We are at the mercy of others. Thanks to the medical profession, the doctors, the noble profession who are really helping us to save our lives. But at the same time, do a little check on your own self. Are we paying more to our wellness, or are we paying more to our illness? The kind of medical bills, the amount of time we need to spend in the consultation rooms, the amount of money that goes for the life insurance policies. It's very good to have the policies, the medical insurance policies, but at the same time, taking care of your health is your prime responsibility. So therefore, please understand that your health is in your control. The nutrition, the right amount, the right kind of nutrition can really unlock your potential. In fact, 60% of Indian women, especially the reproductive age women, are anemic, which means to say that they are performing at a subnormal level. Just by eating good quality iron-rich foods, anemia can be improved. Today we are talking about low birth weight babies, the birth of low birth weight babies, or we talk about maternal deaths during delivery and pregnancy. One of the main reasons is anemia, which can be really worked or helped by taking iron-rich foods. As simple as that. Why are we not paying attention to the protective, healing factors of food? So food is not just to keep yourself going. Food is not just to give you that calories, but food has a much bigger role to play. So please eat mindfully. For today, it is about the food pyramid concept you have to go back with. You need to remember the kind of portions, the kind of groups, the 3 words I told you, the variety, moderation, and less processed. The task I gave you to eat more quantity and quality of fruits, eating it whole as much as possible. The next task of adding more different types of pulses into your diet. And the other important thing is keeping it all this in moderation. These are something, the take homes from the first session. The subsequent sessions will be talking about more specifically about individual aspects. It could be about food and moods. It could be about the intricacy between the food, mind, and body connection. It could be as specific as the foods during your periods, foods during menopause, Or there is also an interesting open session where you could get in touch with the organizers, or you could drop it in the chat box. What is it that you would like to learn? So there is that one blank session that is given to you people to decide and come back and let us know what is it that you want to know on popular demand. So based on your choice, the last session will be held. So this is how the series is going to continue. I will be happy to get back to you every fortnight on different topics that I mentioned just now, and the open topic that is viewer's choice. It'll be really nice that if you come back to us every fortnight and learn more about it. It's a vast topic. If I say I'm going to teach you or talk to you in 2 hours, I'm doing gross injustice to that. So if you think this topic is important for your health, for your body and mind, do come back. We will reserve the next half an hour or 20 minutes for question and answers. But at this moment, I want to know how you felt about the session. In a word or two, if you can just chat in the chat box. What did you feel about the session? I'd be happy to know.
Ma'am, there are also 2 or 3 questions.
I will take it. Certainly. Let me just get a pulse of the audience. Very informative, very informative. Okay. Thanks for that. Healthy session. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Because I need to know. Okay. Very informative. Thanks a lot. Interesting. Great. Great. Engaging and informative. And all your thanks should go to Dr. Deepak Sharma and this wonderful institution of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Khalsa College, University of New Delhi, because it was them, specifically Dr. Deepak, who identified me, and he was instrumental in bringing me here. So all your thanks. If you have learned something, if the session is going to contribute to your health, sir's participation or role is very big. Yes, thanks so much. I've got a lot of appreciation about the session. Thank you. Keep it going. Yes, this is okay. Somebody has already attended my other session. Thanks for that, for coming back. Yes, ma'am. Now we move on to questions.
Yes, ma'am. It's really a very thought-provoking session, and it has brought about so many questions in the chat box. So the first question I want to ask you is there any, correction to the theory that, the kind of dal that we eat is seasonal, that we should eat particular pulses in particular seasons?
Okay. Yes, ma'am. If you look at the customs and the Indian tradition, they have certain dals which are permitted in particular season. Especially if you go by the Ayurveda, they talk about the Vata, Pitta and the Kapha. That is a way our body functions. There are certain foods which are assimilated well or metabolized well in a particular season. They use a concept of Agni. Agni is the power or that energy that is present in the body to digest or metabolize that particular food. So based on these concepts, there are certain dals, there are certain pulses that are recommended at particular season when it is said that the Agni or the energy is higher to metabolize that. In that context, yes, certain seasonal dals are important. If you look at the nature itself, you understand that there are certain vegetables, there are certain beans or pulses that are available at a particular season. You will see that the field beans is grown and it's available around December, Jan, Feb. Likewise, there are other types of dals which are harvested at different seasons. So keeping it seasonal, having it as per the season is really, really good, because it is in a way gets the best of nature and the physiology. So therefore, it's a good concept. But when you talk about nutrition as such, we don't go much into the body type and the dals or the pulses of the different types of vegetables and fruits. We more or less go with the scientific base approach rather than the 3 doshas, what I told you, Vata, Pitta, Kapha in the form of in Ayurveda. So there's a little difference between these 2 streams, but both are scientific and both are very well accepted. So what I suggest is we need to listen to our bodies, understand what suits you. Suppose you have taken a particular dal at this particular season or at this particular time of the day, and you feel a little uneasy, discomfort, and you don't feel that you are at your optimal best. So that is the time you need to understand that this is the food I need to eliminate or I need to take less. So like that, please be very, very observant about your own signals, the body signals. Many a times our body gives us a lot of signals. It could be in the form of an allergy. It could be in the form of a bloating sensation. It could be in the form of an indigestion. It could be a gastric reaction. It could be anything. So therefore, if you listen to these things, irrespective of which stream of science you follow, we can become doctors to our own selves. So be your own doctor to that extent of listening to yourself and understanding. But the principles of choosing the food remains the same as I explained till now.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, the next question is about the eating of paneer. Does it make a difference if we eat paneer as a salad, or should we prefer to eat it with cooked vegetables or stuffed into a paratha?
Okay, fine. Paneer is a good source of protein. It is tasty, versatile. There are many different ways you use paneer, as you rightly said, for your parathas, for your salads. And why not? All your Bengali sweets are also made of this chana. By itself, paneer is a very good source of proteins and also good source of energy. You could eat that either as stuffed paratha, either as salad, whichever suits you. It could be eaten raw with different types of vegetables and fruits like pomegranate and carrots and olives. That's a great salad it can be. You could, as you said, you could eat it in the form of your paneer curries and parathas. But what is it that you eat along with paneer and how you cook this paneer is very important. If you're deep frying the paneer, or for your paneer curries and koftas or your palak paneers, you are very generously adding the fats, then the goodness of paneer is kind of diluted. But otherwise, shallow frying the paneer, stuffing it in parathas, eating it in with salad is a very good way of having good source of protein. In fact, if you, or especially if you have little children at home, just giving those little paneer sticks into their hands, or just saute, just cut it into cubes, saute the paneer in a quarter teaspoon of ghee or oil with a dash of salt, pepper, little maybe jeera powder and turmeric, and just have it as an evening snack when you come back tired from your college or office. It can be a great energy booster and a good source of protein. Instead of just eating those fried foods and mixtures and other things, it is a very healthy food. How you eat with parathas or salads doesn't matter, but what is it that you add to it is something you need to take care of.
Right, ma'am. Now, there are just two more questions, and one is asking about the best intake of food for the benefit to eyes, and the other asking about a detox diet, whether it is good for our health or not.
Okay. And there was also a question earlier about sprouts, ma'am. I would like to
Yes,
answer that
yes,
also.
ma'am.
Yes. So, one was the question of, could you repeat? One is detox. The other one was?
Ma'am, food that is good for the eyes.
Okay, food that is good for the eyes. Okay, food that is good for the eyes. The function of the eyes is very, very important, and especially in children, we are seeing a lot of vision-related problems, especially in the times of pandemic. We also are seeing a lot of problems in the form of dry eyes, strained eyes, vision problems, etc. Overall, eye care is extremely important. But when we're talking about food and eyes, vitamin A is extremely important for good eyes, the health of the eyes. And vitamin A comes from all types of green and yellow colored vegetables and fruits. The retinol is what is present in the vegetables and fruit, which is converted to the vitamin A. Green color greens, vegetables in the form of carrot, pumpkin, orange colored fruits like mango, pineapple. These are something very good for the eyes. So if you have a young child at home, or all of us for that matter, if you can just bite into those carrots, eat those seasonal mangoes or pineapples, make some sabjis or soups or dessert out of pumpkin, the orange variety. That is something very good for your eyes, for good vision, orange color vegetables and fruits. Apart from that, especially as an educator, I would like to also add this information now, especially when children are using a lot of screen or online classes are going on, eye strain, vision problems are quite common. Instruct your children or for your own self to view the screen in a mindful way. Follow this rule of 20-20, which means keep yourself at a distance of 20 inches from the screen. For every 20 minutes of screen, you take a break of about 20 seconds. Gaze or look 20 feet away, that is, watch through a window, gaze, look 20 feet away for 20 seconds and blink 20 times. This is called as a 20-20 approach. So teach people who are much using the screen for whatever purpose, entertainment or learning, whatever purpose. So 20-20 rule to be followed. Eating vitamin A rich foods is very important. Sleeping adequately is very important. The right amount of kind of sleep is important for the eyes, the eye health. And keeping away from the blue light, especially at the time or bedtime. Not too much getting into the smartphones and the other kinds of social media is very important for your eye health. So these are some of the things that you need to take care other than the food for overall health of the eyes. And also, those of you who are watching screens for a longer time, get into the habit of blinking, because too much of screen viewing can result in dry eyes. So see to it that we blink often so that you have a good moisture in the eyes, and then we don't have the burning or the dry skin, which can result in eye infections. Going on to the second question, detoxifying diet. Yes, one way is first and foremost following the food pyramid concept, that's called as a balanced diet. Having a good balanced diet itself is one of the great way or good way to kickstart your day. And following a balanced diet is not about a ritual. It's not about doing it once in a day, once in fortnight. It should be a ritual. It should be every day. Follow a balanced diet with that proportion as much as possible, especially following that 80-20 rule, as I told you. So balanced diet should be the mantra. That itself can really cleanse your system and keep you healthy. That is something that can be done. Other than that, a total detoxifying diet could be that these things should be for a shorter period. None of these food fads or extreme dieting habits are recommended for longer times. For a sustained growth or for long term, for your lifetime, what is required is a balanced diet. Other than that, for short times, you can go in for a kind of intermittent, probably we'll be talking more about this in the later thing, probably about intermittent fasting or taking fluids for one meal, being on a fruit meal, one meal in a week. So these are some of the ways where you can cleanse your system by keeping away from processed, overly cooked food, etc. So that is one way, having a complete meal based on fruits or a complete meal based on liquids. But what I suggest is, instead of going in for these things once in a way and then craving for good health, if you can practice the habit of balanced diet for every day, you are being cleansed, you are active 365 days. So that should be the principle, rather than going in for something that is happening once in a way. And that question regarding sprouts, let me answer that. So sprouts are little germinated seeds. When you soak the pulses in water for about 6 to 8 hours, take it away from water, tie it in a nice muslin cloth or an airtight container, set it aside for about 8 hours or overnight. You see the seeds germinating, the pulses germinating. That is what we call as a sprouts. So what is that happens when the seeds are sprouted? When the seeds are sprouted, there is this increase in the vitamin C in the pulses. Along with that, the digestibility, the ease of digestion also improves. The sugar gets converted to maltose. So for all these reasons, the sprouts are very, very important in our diet. Sprouts, another very important reason is sprouts are still growing. They are live foods. They have live enzymes. Therefore, eating sprouts in the form of salads, eating sprouts just like that whenever you are hungry or as a part of your meal is a very good way or a very good snacking habit. Soak about a handful of green gram just before you go to bed. A handful of green gram, a half or a fistful of chana, and less than that of peanuts. If you take the cup measurement, 1 cup of green gram, half a cup of chana, whole chana, and a quarter cup of peanuts or moongfali. Soak this in water. Next morning, drain it and then sprout it the way I told you. And eat these sprouts with a dash of carrot gratings, cucumber, a dash of pepper. You can also add raisins or pomegranate. Squeeze a little lemon onto it. Eat it fresh. You get a wholesome snack or a nutritious meal which has proteins. Pulses have got proteins. You're eating it along with the skin, so you have the fiber. It has germinated, so there is vitamin C in it. You have added the carrots and cucumbers, so the vegetables and vitamins are there in that. And you have also squeezed lemon. Lemon is a rich source of vitamin C, which is an antioxidant. That simple bowl of sprouted salad is an enormous immunity boosting dish. So if you can take a cup of this kind of salad or sprouts every day in at least one of your meals, you're gifting yourself a great health. So yes, germinated seeds are very good. Sometimes people have a little problem when it comes to digestion because it takes a little longer in digestion because of the skin of some of the legumes. One way of helping that is to add hing or asafoetida in seasoning, or adding jeera powder or cumin powder, or the grated ginger. All these things help in easy digestion of these pulses, especially in some people who have a little difficulty in assimilating this. I hope I've answered this question.
Yes, ma'am, that was very comprehensive, and it's been an excellent session. Everybody's enjoyed it, and I now request my colleague, Dr. Ashish Thomas, to please deliver a short vote of thanks. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nidhi ma'am. First and foremost, I would like to thank Dr. Shobha for delivering a very enlightening talk about unlocking potential with good nutrition. As much as the topic was in itself easily relatable to all of us, it was the way Dr. Shobha interacted with the audience and lucidly explained different aspects about our daily nutrition that made this session extremely interesting and informative. This session has laid the proper foundation for the upcoming sessions, which we believe will make us more aware of our dietary habits and behavior, and also make us realize the immense significance of proper nutrition for a healthy body, mind, and soul. You talked about the takeaway message from today's session, that is to eat more of fruits and vegetables and be conscious of the nutrients that one is intaking. Hope all of us can incorporate this in our daily diet and behavior. Thank you very much, ma'am, for taking time out of your busy schedule, delivering a wonderful presentation, and for patiently answering all the queries of the participants. It was truly an enriching experience. Eagerly looking forward to your remaining sessions as well.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks once again to all the organizers. We come back with another topic in the next session. Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
I would also like to thank our principal, sir, Dr. Gurmohinder Singh, sir, for his welcome address and for taking up and for talking about the significance of good nutrition, especially among students. Thank you, sir. Sincere gratitude to Dr. Deepak Sharma, IQAC coordinator and the mentoring committee for conceptualizing this very relevant webinar series and for identifying and roping in a very appropriate speaker in Dr. Shobha. There is no doubt that this series is going to be extremely beneficial to all the participants in the coming days. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks, a big thanks to the entire IQAC team for their entire behind the curtain support in organizing today's session. And last but not the least, thank you to all the participants for attending this wonderful session. We really hope this series will be extremely useful and informative to each one of us. Also request you to encourage your friends and colleagues to join in the webinar series for the upcoming session. Thank you everyone once again. Stay safe, eat healthy, and have a good weekend.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ashish. One announcement I would like to make, that those who have missed this session, the recording would be made available on our official YouTube channel, and especially the students can circulate a word amongst their friends. They can listen to this important recording for themselves. Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
And, thank you, sir. There are a lot of appreciations coming from the chat box. I really appreciate that. Thanks so much. I will be much more happy when the audience apply the learnings into their day-to-day life and come back and share it in the next session. Thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am.